The death of God. So I had an experience, and what prepared me for this experience, in addition to years of spiritual practice, was India. So when I went to India, I did not know that I was going to be witnessing the death of God. Happy Friday. I'm still on high about yesterday's scope. Woo! The readings. OMG, Tracy, the readings were amazing, huh? The readings were amazing. So I'm in India. And in the whole time I was in India, I never heard that I can recall the word God. I never heard God. I heard Brahma. I heard Krishna. I heard, when we were in the temples, I heard words that referred to aspects of divinity. I did not hear the word God or, yesterday was amazing, huh? Amazing. Morning, Havila. I did not hear the word God, or I did not hear the concept of God. Now, I was in a Hindu place, and I realized that in Hindu, there is not the concept of one particular God. And I love when I listen to people like Sadhguru, because Sadhguru said, you don't have to believe in God to be a good Hindu. He said, you could be a Christian and be a good Hindu. You could be a Muslim and be a good Hindu. You could be an atheist and be a good Hindu. There is not the concept of this God figure. So let's go then to, so I was really ruminating on that. And there was something about this concept that is also a construct, a mental construct of God that was beginning to slip away. It's been slipping away for years, but I haven't really talked about it because it was concerning. And it was at places, it was even more concerning. It was actually disconcerting. Because it's disconcerting when you begin to hear, oh my God, huh, Reverend Daniel? It's disconcerting when you start to feel your belief structure completely melt away and dissolve under your feet. Because then it brings up, sometimes, and for me in consciousness, it brings up panic. Because, oh my God, this is what I've believed for so long. I can't let this go. And that's why so many of us struggle with these belief systems that no longer fit. An expanded consciousness. We continue to have an expanded awareness, expanded awareness, but we still want to hold on to something that we learned when we were little kids. That was me. That was part of my consciousness. And the other aspect of my consciousness was expanding. I was in Bali. I use source of creation because people's gods are so small. Hallelujah. Amen, Arlene. Thank you for sharing on Twitter, Tracy. So I find that many of us have and I wouldn't even say it's conscious. I wasn't consciously walking around thinking of God as a, person. Yet deep in the being, deep in consciousness, on unconscious levels in the subconscious mind, there was still these remnants and these shreds of wanting to hold on to God as some father figure, a person somewhere up high that could give you something or bestow something upon you or somehow grant you something or somehow take something from you or somehow judge people. There's this personage, an idea of a person up there somewhere, and we're light workers. So light workers, we're interesting bunches because of course we know like there's no person in charge of the universe. We know that. And of course we know that there's no God sitting on the throne like a man. That's why we left churches and whatnot, because they were telling us stuff that we knew in our soul to be not true. Yet I find many of us, if we search our consciousness, we will still find vestiges of this idea of a God person. And somehow it's comforting, because if you think there's this person taking care of you, this is what I was thinking. There's this person taking care of me. This is so wonderful. This is God taking care of me. No. So that was the beginning. That was sort of how it was unfolding, right? It was unfolding. I was in India, no God, no concept of God. There's these energetics, Brahma, Krishna, the Kali, the incredible gods and goddesses of the Hindu experience. There is no God like in charge, like there is in Christianity. And if you had any experience of Christianity, search your consciousness for this. Search your consciousness for this God thing. Well, when I came back from India, dealing with this a lot now, and you know what? When you break up one of your own paradigms, yes, Lakshmi, thank you. We've been so indoctrinated, Tracy, haven't we? Haven't we? Oh, indeed, Brazil. Yes, Lizette. We've been so indoctrinated. And you know what I found? I found that I thought I was free of a lot of it, and I wasn't. And here's when I discovered that I thought I was free of a lot of it. And here's where I've discovered the very moment I discovered that I was not free of it. And the very moment that for my consciousness occurred the death of God. So I'm sitting talking to my sister, Reverend Danielle. You'll know her well. And Reverend Danielle asked me, I was talking about twin flame and we were about to go to court and I was not feeling good and part of me was feeling good and I was having these experiences. And she said, would you like to, it was an invitation. Would you like to experience, would you like to go up there? I said, like, you mean like 12th dimension, like to the soul? She said, further than that. Would you like to go? I'm talking about going all the way back to source, all the way. Now, an invitation like that to a person like me, when are we going? Do I need my bags packed? She was like, let's do it now. I said, let's do this. We go to her house. Oh yeah, go there. Oh yeah, we go there. We go to her house and she has this phenomenal experience. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to call it. And Reverend Danielle, you can share with us what it is that you call it. If you aren't going to be daddy little girl, then you have to admit that you have all the power. Hello. And you know, the witches have been saying that all along in my consciousness because witches don't believe in this God that's going to give you something. Witches know, witches have all the power. And the power is in you and you work the power. And you don't ask a deity to give you something. I'm still not 100% free. I have to work on it all the time. Oh my God. Yes, Tracy, it's something. I was not 100% free until I went to Reverend Danielle's home. And we sat in and we went into this experience. And I tell you one thing. We went all the way. And let me tell you something. When I went all the way there, all the way up, there's not even words to describe it. There was no person, there was no God, there was no overarching ruler of the universe. There was bliss. That's the best way I could describe it. There's not even words to describe it. So anything that I say would not be giving it its accurate experience because this ineffable bliss cannot be measured in words. I'm going to Reverend Danielle's home. Go to Reverend Danielle's home. Stop working. Start breaking these paradigms. And break them. I went all the way up there. There was no God up there. I'm telling you what I know. The sis took me all the way up there. There wasn't no God up there. There was no Jehovah, no Allah, no nothing. And the bliss, it was bliss, pure bliss, infinite bliss. That's it. That's all it was. It was infinite bliss. And as I was there, tears just began to stream down my face. I felt this complete release from, is there a God that's going to judge me? Or, the little questions that you still have in the back of your mind. Maybe there's a hell. Maybe there's not a hell. Maybe there's an Armageddon. Maybe God's going to kill somebody. Maybe God's displeased with this. Maybe God. All that left. God died. God freaking died. God's dead. They ain't no God up there. There ain't no God nowhere. You are the power. You are the power. There's no one in charge. Infinite bliss. Tracy, when I tell you infinite bliss, I mean the bliss of being. All I could imagine was, all I could experience was, it was bliss. That's like the best word that it wasn't even love. It was even beyond love. It was this infinite bliss. And it was a being. It wasn't doing anything. That's right. People think, and you lived. Woo! Just got chills. It wasn't doing anything. Stop thinking that God is doing something. God is going to do this, and God did this, and God saved me from that. No, God didn't. No, that's not what happened, boo. You did it. The divinity that is you did it. Wow. Don't know how to take this. I tell you, it's mind shattering. I walked around literally for 2 days looking like drool was coming from my mouth. I was just walking around. I'm telling you, Danielle, I was walking. She was texting me, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I think so." It took me about 2-3 whole days to process what happened when I went all the way up there. So it puts the ownership back on. Absolutely. Absolutely. And ooh, you got an aha, Tracy. We love ahas. We love ahas. Absolutely. You're the power. You're the power. Try it on like a coat. If you don't like the coat, take it off. Hallelujah. I'm here to share my experience. As I tell you all the time, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. You are your own being. You are God. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at God. If there be such a thing, you are looking at God. There's no one to ask for anything. There's no one to ask to do it for you. There's no one to bless you with something. I stopped believing in blessings. Now let's go really mind busting. I was riding in the car and I asked the angels, is there something above gratitude? Because we're always trying to be so grateful, right? Not trying to be grateful. We are grateful. I was thinking about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Ooh, I felt like Alice in Wonderland. So we're always having this concept of grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. If you tell people God died, they will freak. Yeah, people freak out. Yes, because people are not ready for their paradigms to be busted up. But I tell you one thing, let it go. If you want to. And if you are being exposed to this, it means something in your consciousness is ready to let it go. So I'm riding in the car, resonating to the core of me. Woo, my witches rejoicing in this truth. Yes, witches don't believe in a God. There ain't no God up there. Now we call on ancestral spirits. We call on gods and goddesses in the form of a particular aspect of divinity. Like if you want to call on power, or if you want to call on creativity, or if you want to call on the destroying power, you call Kali. They're energetics. None of it is God. Witches don't have a concept of God. Witches don't believe in a God. You know, if there's God, goddess, there is this. God, goddess is really more of energy we work with, not people, not a person, right? And so witches, everything for the witch, everything is coming from inside here. I'm going to have to rewind this. Woo! So I'm riding in the car and I asked the angels, what's above gratitude? Is there something above gratitude? They said yes. And every time I ask the angels something, they say yes. Okay, so they told you, Dorothy, you had the power all along. You have the power all along. Stop asking God to do stuff for you, because there is no God to do stuff for you. That's your job. There's no God to do stuff for you. So I asked the angels, is there something above gratitude? They said yes. I said, well, what's above gratitude? God, goddess, I am. Yeah. I even stopped saying God. I say spirit, I say source, I say, you know, my guide, Arcturus, one of the ascended masters, he calls it pure life energy, pure love energy. And that's exactly what I experienced up there. Pure life energy. There was no God. There was just simply bliss. There was this all infinite beingness. I asked the angels, is there something above gratitude? They said, oh my goodness, you blow my head. I'm still in a wild stage. I tell you, being Flores, my mind was blown wide open. Yes, Reverend Danielle, free. Well, when I asked the angels, was there something above gratitude? They said yes. And this is what they said. It was mind blowing. Why would you be grateful? This was the first aspect they took me to. Is spirit grateful? Now, if you want to believe God, is God grateful? Of course not. Even in the construct of God, is God grateful? No. Well, why is God not grateful? Because God is the one giving it all. So you're grateful because you think you received something from somewhere. I say go beyond gratitude. This is going to be very scary and very new for many of us. It was new for me. Go beyond gratitude. Stop being grateful. There's something beyond grateful. Because if you're the giver, if you're the one on Christmas giving things to everybody, are you grateful? Or most of the time you're grateful because you received, someone gave you something. Oh, thank you, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. If you're the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-giving being, which you are, what are you grateful for? You are the one. You are the God. You are the power. You are it. What are you grateful for? I mean, this was very, once again, mind-shattering. That a lot of stuff we've been believing just ain't so. And we think, oh, gratitude is the key to life. Have an attitude of gratitude, attitude of gratitude. There's something beyond gratitude. Because is God saying, I'm so grateful? If there was a God, is God saying, I'm so grateful for what? Why would God be grateful? Why would the all be grateful? The all wouldn't be grateful. The all is the all. Is spirit grateful? No, spirit is not grateful. Spirit is beingness, infinite givingness, infinite love. Is it grateful? No, it's not grateful. That's a human construct. It's not true for the trees then. If it's not true for the trees, then what does that mean, Reverend Danielle? If it's not true for the trees, then hello. No, right. Are the trees grateful? Are the birds grateful? No, the birds are simply being. Beingness, right? Beingness is not anything to be grateful for. I might be the first minister that ever told you stop being grateful. It simply is, right? It simply is. That's it. Bliss and beauty of being. What kept resonating for me was I experienced the bliss of being. It wasn't doing anything. It didn't have any agenda. It didn't ask for anything. It didn't want us to do anything. So we've tricked all these years. Yeah, we're definitely, well, I don't know if we've been tricked. I believe that we have been told something that our consciousness could handle. It's like mama and daddy tells us little stories when we're little, and it's up to us when we grow up to ascertain truth as according to how we're spiritually mature and ready to receive the truth. Not everyone is ready to receive the truth. Because if you told probably 90% of the people on the planet that there ain't no God, they would just call you a heretic and blasphemous and you are God. They would just tell you you're crazy. Just be, my higher self is taking the bad over my old self. Come on. I need a chai talk. I need a chai talk. A tall chai. Morning Chamonix. Death of God. There ain't no God. There's nobody to ask for anything, like I said. There's nobody doing anything. That whole myth, gonna have to replay this. Mind is blown. Wow, my God, I'm so happy we're having mind blowing this morning. Because I'm telling you, my mind was blown. I'm telling you, I was walking around for 2 days with drool just hanging from my mouth. And I could say that was the culmination of a mounting truth that had been showing itself to me over many years. Many years. That was the culminating point of it. When I went up there and looked around, holy smokes, there ain't no God up here. Holy smokes. I mean, it was just mind-blowing bliss. It didn't want you to do anything. It didn't have you got to be good for God. No, you don't. You got to sleep with this person and don't sleep with that person. No, you don't. You got to give this to this person. No, you don't. You got to be good. No, you don't. Because this bliss, it didn't have, as Reverend Danielle said, it didn't have an agenda. It didn't want you to do anything. It didn't want you to be anything. It simply, I could say, recognized me as it. So what more is there? I literally came back and said, well, what's the point of it all? Why are people running around? That was the existential question I then had to resolve within my consciousness. You know how spirituality is a series of resolutions and integrations. That's really what spirituality is. It's a series. It's an ongoing series of discovery, resolutions, and integrations. Someone asked, are we to be grateful for experiences? Please address that. Awesome. No, it simply is. Is God grateful? So if you ask, anything that you would ask, am I to be doing? Ask, does God do it? I ask myself that question. And when I say God, I don't mean God, a person. I mean the infinite beingness of the universe. Source from which everything emanates, from which you are. Source, the infinite giveness, source from which everything, it was a vast nothingness from which everything is emerging. Yes? Oh my God. So source, is source grateful? No, source is simply pure being. Source is simply pure being. Pure being. So I started asking all these questions. Well, what's it all for? I was looking at people like people are running around back and forth to work. They're running around scurrying, trying to, they're like little ants running around, not a game, an opportunity to create. Hallelujah. And when you know you are this infiniteness, I was it and it was me. I was it and it was me. It was all bliss. And I recognized it as myself and it recognized me as itself. Who made the judge up then? Makes me question a lot in love. It's all made up. It's all made up. We made the whole thing up. I had a dream of God years ago. It was in the form of the sun. The light was so strong. Yes. Yes. It ain't no person. And there's nobody that's going to come to your rescue and save you and do it. That's your job. Because you are the power. You are source. That was clear. Oh, it's incredible. It was bliss. It was bliss of being. And you know what? It was total relief because it didn't ask me to do anything. It didn't need me to do anything. Didn't want me to do anything. It wasn't trying to get me to be good. It wasn't trying to get me to obey. It wasn't trying to, those were all Abraham Hicks come to mind. Yes. Those were all control tactics that people were using to try to get you to under control so that you could do the things that they want you to do so that you could do their bidding. That didn't have the first thing to do with God. God is dead. The death of God didn't have anything to do with God. So this, I even took to stop using the word because now for a long time when I said the word God, something about it didn't resonate. Something about it was like, not true. According to how the construct was in my consciousness. Now when I say it, I'm simply referring to spirit bliss. Bliss. We could call bliss God. Bliss. Okay? I'm ready and mind blown. Come on, Reverend Danielle, they're ready. Can you put your information in? I'm going to break the law of attraction next. She broke God. It's time to kill God. And look, she said, I'm closed. Reverend Danielle, put your website in because the family wants to come and see you and talk to you. And how I felt. Glad I heard this. Woo, my goodness. Now, everything in decency and in order. Indeed, King. Indeed. Now, mayhem would break out. You can't tell people God is dead. They would think you, and people hate on atheists. Oh, hey, atheists are more accurate sometimes than Christians. Reverend Danielle, do you have video on YouTube? Yes, Danielle DanielleRandallCoaching.com. DanielleRandallCoaching.com. Danielle, how do we get a camera? How do we get the camera? Oh my God. On Facebook too. DanielleRandallCoaching.com. And I'll tell you one thing, coaching is a small word for what sis does, okay? Coaching is a small word. Coaching cannot even encapsulate what she does. What was that? That was a picture. That's a good question. I saw a camera. I don't know if that's a screenshot or what. I saw a camera float up. It's beautiful. Anyway, here is what we're going to end with. Danielle Randall on Facebook, wonderful. Here's what we're going to end with. Stop putting all your power outside yourself. Stop scurrying around on this planet looking for this, that, or the other. Finally, I came to the conclusion and the realization. When Joseph Campbell summed up the meaning of life in 3 words, I realized he's absolutely accurate. He said, when they asked him the meaning of life, Joseph Campbell, the meaning of life, he said, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss is the meaning of life. That's what the whole thing is for. Follow your bliss. Oh, thankful, Tracy. So thankful. So thankful. I'm thankful, Tracy, for you because I feel I'm receiving something wonderful. And we all know we are one great bliss, infinite bliss power. Infinite, but follow your bliss. It's not about jobs. It's not about who can rack up the most stuff. It's not about who can be the most successful. It's not about who's going to be the next president. That's a farce. It's not about any of that stuff that we think is so important on the earth plane. If you don't vote, what's going to happen? Nothing. Life is going to keep going because the infinite bliss doesn't know whether you vote or not, doesn't care. The infinite bliss doesn't care if you're straight, gay, tall, short, old, fat, skinny, be you, whatever you are, do you, boo. There's nothing demanded of you. There's nothing you have to do. There's no one you have to please. There's no one that's going to save you. You are it. And the sooner you wake up, to the divinity, the bliss that is your being, and live from beingness, you're living from the bliss. Thank you, family. I love you. God bless.